In the annals of history, few events have had as profound an impact as the Reconquest. This was a time when the world was gripped by deep-seated political, religious, and cultural tensions that set the stage for a dramatic shift in power dynamics. The era preceding the Reconquest was a tumultuous one, marked by a delicate balance of power among various factions. On one hand, there were the established empires, deeply rooted in tradition and with a firm grasp on their territories. On the other, there were the emergent forces, driven by the desire for change and the promise of a new world order. Amid this backdrop of political upheaval, religion played a crucial role. It was more than just a belief system. It was a driving force, a banner under which people rallied. It was a source of unity for some, but also a cause of division and conflict for others. The religious disparities among the factions added another layer of complexity to the already intricate tapestry of the period. Culture, too, was at the heart of the tensions leading up to the Reconquest. Different civilizations, each with their unique customs, languages, and ways of life, found themselves at odds with each other. These cultural clashes often manifested in territorial disputes, as each faction sought to assert its dominance and spread its influence. In the midst of these tensions, there were significant figures who emerged, leaders who would play pivotal roles in the events to come. These individuals, fueled by a blend of ambition, ideology, and pragmatism, were the ones who would eventually steer the course of the Reconquest. What was at stake was more than just territories or resources. It was about the very identity of the factions involved, their place in the world, and their vision for the future. It was about power, influence, and the right to shape the narrative of history. So with the stage set, the players in position, and the stakes high, the scene was ripe for what would come to be known as the Reconquest. This was the beginning of a chapter that would forever alter the course of history. As the tensions simmered and finally reached a boiling point, the Reconquest began. A series of battles, both grand and gruesome, marked the initiation of this historical era. The Reconquest was not merely a sequence of wars. It was a complex chess game where strategies were as important, if not more, than the numbers of soldiers on the battlefield. One of the first and most significant conflicts was the Battle of Zafra. This battle was a masterclass in tactical genius, where the outnumbered forces used the landscape to their advantage, turning the tide in their favor. Yet, not all battles brought glory. The siege of Almazan serves as a stark reminder of the ruthlessness of wars. The city, once a thriving hub of culture and commerce, was reduced to ruins. Its inhabitants paid the price of being at the crossroads of conflict. The Reconquest was a time of shifting loyalties and treacherous alliances. Kingdoms that were once bitter enemies found common ground, while others, once allies, turned against each other. One such instance was the Pact of Cazorla, an alliance formed between two kingdoms against a common enemy. These alliances, though often short-lived, played a crucial role in shaping the course of the Reconquest. However, there were also betrayals that left deep scars and changed the course of history. The betrayal of Orihuela is one such instance, where a trusted ally switched sides at a crucial juncture, leading to a devastating loss for the other. These betrayals often caused dramatic shifts in power dynamics, tipping the scales in unexpected ways. As with any period of intense conflict, the Reconquest was a time of fluctuating fortunes. Victories were celebrated, losses mourned, and every strategic move had far-reaching implications. The initial phases of the Reconquest were marked by uncertainty and fluctuating fortunes. However, the tide was about to turn. The chessboard was being rearranged, and a new phase of the Reconquest was about to begin. In every conflict, there is a moment, a turning point that determines the course of history. The Reconquest was no different. The turning point of the Reconquest wasn't a single event, but rather a series of decisive battles that gradually shifted the balance of power. Each battle, each strategy played a crucial part in this shift. It all started with a daring change in tactics, a bold move that rewrote the rules of engagement. The forces that were once on the defensive started taking the offensive. They began executing strategies that were unexpected, unconventional, and undeniably effective. They launched surprise attacks, took advantage of the enemy's weaknesses, and turned the tide of the war. This was not just a physical shift on the battlefield, but also a psychological one. It was a message loud and clear. They were not just surviving, they were fighting back. This turning point had a profound impact on the morale of the forces involved. For those on the offensive, it was a beacon of hope, a sign that victory was within reach. They fought with renewed vigor, each victory feeding their resolve. For those on the defensive, it was a wake-up call, a realization that the tide of the war was changing. Their once unshakable confidence began to waver, their morale dipping with each defeat. But this turning point did more than just change the course of the Reconquest. It changed the way wars were fought. It proved that strategy and cunning could triumph over brute force. It showed that even in the face of overwhelming odds, victory was possible. This turning point was more than just a moment, it was a revolution. It was the moment when the underdogs rose, when the tide turned, and when the course of history changed forever. It was the moment that set the stage for the final decisive phase of the Reconquest. With the turning point, the Reconquest moved into its final decisive phase. In the grand chessboard of history, the endgame of the Reconquest was nothing short of dramatic. The final battles of the Reconquest were a crescendo of strategic brilliance and sheer human courage. The siege of Granada, the last stronghold of the Moors, was a spectacle of strength and fortitude. The eventual victor, the Christian monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella, prevailed not merely through military prowess, but also through diplomatic cunning. The impact of the Reconquest was far-reaching both for the Iberian Peninsula and the world. The unification of Spain under Christian rule was a seismic shift in the balance of power in Europe. It marked the end of Muslim rule in Western Europe and the beginning of Spain's ascension as a global superpower. Beyond the geopolitical implications, the Reconquest also brought about sweeping changes in the religious and cultural dynamics of the region. Catholicism became the dominant religion, replacing Islam, and Latin replaced Arabic as the official language. This transition wasn't always peaceful, and the expulsion or forced conversion of Jews and Muslims left deep scars on the social fabric of Spain. The Reconquest also ushered in an era of exploration and discovery. The newly unified Spain, now free from the distractions of internal strife, set its sights on the unknown horizons of the New World. This period, known as the Age of Discovery, saw the likes of Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama map uncharted territories, forever changing our understanding of the world. In the realm of culture, the Reconquest inspired a wave of artistic and literary creations. The tales of chivalry and heroism from this period gave birth to the genre of the Spanish epic, with works like El Cid capturing the spirit of the times. Thus ended the Reconquest, an event that forever changed the course of history. The echoes of its impact still reverberate today, in the political and cultural landscapes of Spain, Europe, and indeed, the world. In the aftermath of the Reconquest, the world was a different place. This monumental series of events left an indelible mark on the course of history, forever altering the socio-political landscape. The Reconquest, a saga of resilience and tenacity, encapsulated a pivotal moment where cultures clashed and destinies were rewritten. This monumental shift wasn't confined to the borders of the nations directly involved. It rippled outwards, influencing global diplomacy, trade, culture, and even our understanding of the world. The Reconquest was more than just a historical event. It was a catalyst for change, sparking new ideas and transforming established norms. Today, the legacy of the Reconquest lives on, not just in the annals of history, but in the very fabric of our contemporary society. It serves as a reminder of the human capacity for resilience, the power of determination, and the enduring influence of historic events. And so the echoes of the Reconquest continue to resonate, a testament to an event that shaped the world as we know it today.